Boker Tov. Good morning. We continue with the 3-minute daily dose of Torah. We've been looking at the verses that describe the lead up to the wrestling match that Yaakov has with this strange figure. The Torah at the end of this storyline, Pasuk Lamed Beit, tells us, actually Pasuk Lamed Aleph first tells us that when things are over, Pasuk Lamed Beit, Vayishlach lo Hashemesh, and the sun arose for him, Kasher Avar Penuel, as he passed across Penuel, Behut Solea al Yerecho, he was limping on his thigh. We talked a little bit about that in the context of the teaching of the Rashbam. That why is he limping? That was in a very immediate way to prevent him from running from his brother and having instead to face his brother, and that's, I think, absolutely a correct reading of the text. But then the Torah goes on to tell you this parenthetical teaching. Sort of slipped in here as a Moshe Rabbeinu has interrupted the flow of the narrative, or I mean it's the end, but he throws in a little piece of information. Al Kain, therefore lo yochlu v'nei Yisrael gid hanasheh. That's why the children of Israel literally b'nei Yisrael, because he's Yisrael from this moment. He has become Yisrael, although only officially named later. But the strange figure, Malach person, tells him that you will be called Yisrael. And so now the Torah right away tells you about B'nai Yisrael. We don't eat at Gid Hanasheh, Asher al Kaf Hayarech Hayom Hazeh. We don't eat this nerve, the sciatic nerve, seemingly how we explain what it is, which is there on the hollow of the thigh, to this very day. Kinaga b'chaf yerach Yaakov begid hanasheh, because that's where he touched him at that point. So again, in my younger years, referred to as a dead leg, right? But that's where he touched him, and at the hollow of the thigh. What is that about? So why don't we eat the Gid Hanasheh, which means basically a lot of hind-quarter meat is very complicated for deveining to be done properly, and so we simply don't eat hindquarters of animals because it was too hard to devein this. There are some in the Sephardic community that have more of a Masorah tradition of how to do it, but we don't. And so so we don't eat it because of that. Why? And so the answer seems to be, right, that this touches on, literally, our vulnerability. Ultimately, it's what happens, right? He cannot best him. This Malach cannot best Yaakov. So putting aside the Rashbams, in our reading on that, can't best him, but he can but he can at least make him hurt. And there's something about we are aware of the vulnerabilities. We don't have to take it in. We have our vulnerabilities. I want you to consider what you do with this, right? It's a vulnerable spot for us, and therefore we shouldn't eat it. Somehow addressing that, I leave it to you to fully unpack that. But that is the reason why, to this very day, those parts are not eaten, to remind ourselves of this event. You unpack it even further. Have a great day, everyone.